Hey guys, it's Clayton Delaney. I know that I haven't put a vlog up in quite a while other than the slow motion things, which are fun and they still haven't gotten old. But I just kind of wanted to think out loud for a little bit. I've been thinking about something, a discussion that I had about a week or two ago, and by no means is this me blasting anyone that was in that discussion or in that conversation. I just need to kind of think about it and express my thoughts. And so in no way does this have any ill intentions or anger behind it. So to get to the point, in a Sunday school class we were discussing the gospel. I came in a little late on the conversation. We were discussing the gospel, specifically the great commandment: love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And there were some people, the topic was brought up that we are called to love people, but we're not called to like people. And I don't really believe that that's true, for the fact that if you're in a relationship and you're trying to build a rapport with someone, you can tell somebody, I like you, I just don't love you. And that makes sense, right? Because it's a natural progression of the relationship. You haven't gotten to the point where you can love that person. But I don't believe that there's an ability or there's a point in a relationship where you can look at someone and say, I love you, I just can't stand you, I don't like you. It just doesn't make sense. So I believe that not only are we called to love someone, but we're called to like the people, or like the person, like whatever, you know, towards that person. I also think that, well, the example was given about Charles Manson. What about Charles Manson? Surely you can't like Charles Manson, but we're called to love everyone, so that would include Charles Manson. And I would say that we're not called or asked to like the actions or decisions that maybe Mr. Manson, Charles Manson made, but we're called to love him. And at some point, I believe that if you feel like you're called to minister to Charles Manson, I believe that God will grow an ability to build a rapport with that man, to validly love him, to authentically love him, and to grow from a acquaintance, kind of getting to know him, to, you know, I can kind of like this guy, to where I could love this man. I don't think that it would work in the idea of if I got to heaven and I told God, you know, I loved everybody that I could, I just didn't like them. I don't believe that God's going to look back at me and say, well, that's what I meant the whole time. You don't have to like the people. That's not what it meant. It meant, you know, you just have to try to love them. You don't have to like them. But the idea, the connotation of that word love in that scenario is an agape love. It's a sacrificial, it is a servanthood kind of love. It's not a love that has limitations. It's a love that is the deepest, strongest love that is also reflected when Christ is sacrificed and crucified on the cross. It's that kind of a love that you will go to extreme measures to express that love, that like for a person, that interest, that sincerity in a person. And so I've been kind of thinking about that, and that wraps into the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And the first of those is love. And so if that's the beginning process of the fruits of God, I believe to get to that point of loving, you have to be able to like. You have to get to the point where you can grow that rapport, you can grow that relationship. And so that's just kind of what I've been thinking about lately. This is my steering wheel. I just got off of work. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. So what do you guys think? What do you think about that? Can you love someone without liking them? Are we called, if you're a Christian, or if you're not a Christian, if you don't believe in God, do you think that specific verse is used in the aspect of we're not called to like people, but we're called to love people? And if you believe that we are called to love people, but we don't necessarily have to like them, could you explain how that works? because I would really like to see how that plays out. I'm Clayton Delaney. I'm glad that you're here. If you made it to the end of the video, good job, and 7 kudos to you. And you can store those and spend those at a later time. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a comment, like, share this if you have people that are pondering this thought too. Yeah, and we'll see you later. I'm gonna push the button now. Bye.